I thought I'd make a quick video now that the worst of the whole COVID situation has passed, or what I hope was the worst of it has passed, um, and what I hope so many took out of it, and not just seen it as some wild happening that they could learn nothing from. I have a saying that if you approach any situation unfearful and with a willing to learn, you will take something out of it. So, in my lifetime at least, nothing like this has happened, where I guess you were given the chance to take a step back from what you thought mattered, and just it was a time to reset. It was a time to find yourself and to find the things that truly matter, and to realize the things that don't matter, that you were just so recklessly going after in your pursuit of happiness, in your pursuit of fulfillment. So what I hope people have taken out of this is just when you're faced to be alone for this amount of time, a lot of thinking happens, and a lot of resetting. And I believe that humans don't change unless we're faced with adversity. And what happened was definitely adverse. I think right now we seek answers more than ever, as with the rise of social media and how wild it's getting, constantly seeing what others have, comparing yourself to others, which is a very dead end street. Some people live for many years before they realized that what they were chasing their whole life, it was a waste of time. And that the things they were always going after, like money and material items, and believing that when I achieve this, I will feel better. When I get that partner that I've been longing for so long, I will feel better. When I own my house, I will feel better. When I get that job that people look up to me for, I will feel better. And when they do get that item, the partner or the house or the car, or they lose weight, and they just thought that when I get there, it's going to be so grand. And then they get there and they discover that they're onto the next thing. That it's a hamster wheel, constantly thinking that your happiness lies in the future. So how can you begin to figure out what you truly want? Or at least how have I begin to go about finding out what I truly want, what I truly believe, what matters. And in the future, in X amount of time, I will find happiness and fulfillment being there, and not looking back and saying, "Oh, I've wasted my life trying to please others," or "I've wasted my life thinking that status matters, or what I have matters." I'm the same as you. I'm the same as anyone else. I don't want to get to into the future, further on in my life, and have regret, because I think that's I think that'd be a terrible feeling. So back to the COVID reset bit. When you're locked inside, when you're locked inside your house for whatever, a month, 2 months, 3 months, sometimes more, in other countries, you're forced to face yourself, and you're forced to rethink your life. Um, and yeah, I definitely feel that's how I definitely felt about the whole thing. Um, there's no right now. We've just been thrown into this gigantic mystery. We have no idea what's going on, why we've been given our bodies and our consciousness and our minds, and everyone's just running around like they're playing a video game that they haven't watched the instructions for, like just mashing the buttons. And after I really took a step back and began observing people and people's actions, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I realized that it's just madness, and we really just need an instruction manual to say, hey, this doesn't matter, this matters. I could probably go on for a while about this topic, but it's pretty quite simple, I think. What matters is what kind of a person you are. Not even that long ago, if you had big muscles, that means you were useful. And then technology came in, and that meant if you had big muscles, you were put on the door as a security guard. I believe what the future holds is less of human knowledge, if that's the right wording, and more of what kind of a person you are is going to matter, because technology is taking over so fast. AI is coming in so fast, and it's just so mind-bogglingly smart that I think for some areas your uni degree will matter less and less, because there's going to be a robot that's doing your job. And yeah, like I said, what kind of a human you are is going to matter the most. So yeah, this is what I hope so many of you got out of being locked inside for so long, that you had a realization that what matters is spreading love. That's what matters the most. There's nothing higher, nothing more beautiful, nothing more fulfilling than being the best version of you possible. That realizing that holding on to hate is only doing you bad. It's not affecting anyone else but you. That's it. That by withholding that, you are bending your own spine, because you are constantly having that weight on your shoulders. You are just hurting yourself. Another thing that while we're on the topic of self-actualization, another thing that's definitely becoming bigger and bigger, and is going to be pretty mainstream in the next few years, I believe, is psychedelics. And of course, when you mention this kind of thing to most people, you will get a knee-jerk reaction that's something like, "Oh, I don't want to touch those kinds of things. You know, why would I want to do that? What would I get out of that?" Or my friend had some of them, and now they're stuck in a trip, or this and that, and all this stigma that relates around these substances. And then there's also the argument of, well, why should I need to ingest a drug to help me with my life? Why do I need an external substance to help me? You know, and then there's a lot of people who will say, "Oh, I've done them before. I've done LSD, or I've done mushrooms, and yeah, you trip out, and I did it with my friends, and it was hilarious, and it's just the typical story." And what's going on with that kind of response is, think of it as the 1800s when Galileo Galilei, he wasn't the inventor of the telescope, but he made the first telescope that could see, from what I know, out into the cosmos. And he pointed out his window and he said, "Look through this telescope and you will see that we are not the center of the universe." And others said, "What is this instrument of the devil? Why are you trying to argue that we are not the center of the universe? We know that we are the center of the universe." And they took his telescope and they threw it in the corner. And then one day, someone picked up that telescope and looked out into the cosmos and realized that indeed we are not the center of the universe. So with my analogy of that is, people who think they've done these substances and they've learned all there is to learn, what they're doing is they're picking up the telescope and not even looking out the window. They're simply just turning it towards a wall, looking at the wall, and then chucking it in the corner and never looking through it again. So these substances indeed will be mainstream soon because of their therapeutic benefits, which I won't go into because I'm not an expert on any of this. And like anything, they carry a risk if you incorrectly use them, if you abuse them, if you mix these substances with other substances, especially recreational ones. Yeah, bad things can happen, and it's possible you can get stuck in a trip. But that's the same thing with anything. If you abuse it and you don't know what you're doing, it can be detrimental to your health, or it can end your life. Look what sugar does. Look what fast food does. What's one of the biggest killers in the world? Cancer. What is one of the main causes of cancer? Bad food. Yet people are just so fast to say, "Oh, drugs are so bad. Drugs, they're just terrible. They're addictive." Well, yeah, some of them may be addictive, but anything is if you misuse it. These substances, for me, and for many, many others, are just the most incredible thing, the most incredible experience that you could possibly participate in, I believe. I was curious about what they were maybe 3 years ago. I was under the thought that they were bad. That why would you want to have a trip? Like, what's so good about what you see things and you wig out, or what? Like, what can be so good about that? So I decided to try them for myself and see what they were truly about, instead of taking someone else's word for it, which is usually never the right way to go about things, as I discovered. I've tripped probably around 10 times on various substances such as DMT, LSD, psilocybin mushrooms, or magic mushrooms as people call them, which is, quite frank, a terrible name for a substance of this power. I won't explain what it's like because It's impossible. There isn't words for what this experience is like. It's so alien and it's so mind-blowing that you can't, there just isn't any words in the English language for it. I I got quite interested in reality and asking, why am I here? Why am I human? And what psychedelics did for me was they let me know that there isn't you and you're experiencing the universe. There isn't, you have not been born into this world to experience the world. What I've taken from it is that you are the world, you are the universe experiencing itself. This seems like such a far out woo-hoo thing to say, and I guess so many won't agree or think that it's ridiculous because there is no proof as to what I'm saying. And I don't think there ever will be. I think that one of the things of science is that science is trying to touch the mystical with the physical stick. And it's not going to work. I believe that something cannot come from nothing, meaning that what's going on right now, it just kind of stemmed from nothing. There is absolutely a higher power in control of all this. If you just stop and observe something, pick up a leaf or watch an ant. If you watch that ant for a long time, or you hold that leaf for minutes or hours and just stare at it, you will realize that you have no idea what it is. And that's the exact same thing with what's going on right now. We have no idea what's going on. Of course, this kind of thing interests some people. Not everyone is curious as to know, why am I here? What's the grand meaning of all this? But I think if you want answers and you want to live, possibly a fulfilling life and not be worried about, what comes next? Where do I go after this? What do I die? And then everything fades to black. That's terrifying. And before I had these experiences, I felt the exact same way. I thought, wow, I'm already 20 years old, or I'm already 25 years old, and I've got 40 or 50 years to go, and that's it. Like, I need to get a move on. I need to be happy. I need to get this. I need to get that. I need to achieve this. I need to achieve that. And I just got caught up in the usual quagmire of life, of not looking into things on an extremely deep level and finding real answers. I was just assuming, like most people are assuming, that this is some kind of a big bang happens and then people happen and then we die and there is death and that's it. You go to heaven, and it's just, and I just think, I think it's nonsense. I just think that anyone who you ask and they say, there's nothing after life. Well, how do you know? We'll prove that there is. And indeed, once you begin toying with these psychedelic substances, there is a very good chance that you will be reminded that nothing is what you think it is. That there are things happening beyond your unaltered state of consciousness that are going on that are just so different to what's happening now. I'm just struggling to explain a deep psychedelic experience because it's unexplainable. Now, most will say, or a lot of people will say, "Oh, that sounds terrifying to me," or "I'm afraid of a bad trip." Which, yeah, of course, there are bad trips, and which that's the normal knee-jerk response you will get out of people when you mention this kind of thing. But then I've had a bad trip or two, and then it's not. Once again, it's not what people think it is. It's the substance trying to show you, put something in front of your face and tell you that, hey, this needs dealing with. That you had this problem in your life that you're constantly sweeping under the carpet, and you know that you need to sort it out, whether it's through psychedelics, whether it's through therapy. But you don't. It's scary. Facing things is terrifying. You'd rather take the easy way out. And taking the easy way out of anything rarely or never is beneficial. You will soon find out that taking the easy way out of things doesn't work. That you'll have to come back around and reconcile with what's going on in your head. So yeah, I hope that I've sparked an interest at least, because that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not the best with my words. I'm just trying to say that if you're the kind of person that has a lot of questions, that finds yourself asking, what's going on? Why am I here? How can I live the happiest, most blissed out, fulfilling life that I can? That you really need to take a step back from what you think is important, and you need to find deeper answers. You need to turn off the TV. Turn it off. There's nothing on. Rarely is there anything on TV that's beneficial. The media and the stations have an agenda to fill, and that's views. It's watching the news is no good. You will find that if they want views, so they're going to bend the story to one extreme or the other because it's entertaining. And you will usually find that the truth is between the two extremes that are being told to you. It's somewhere in between that. So yeah, like I said, I just made this video to hopefully spark a change, and a change that we desperately need right now. That the madness that you see on the TV and in your Instagram feed, it's not beneficial at all to you at all. It's just you're just going around in circles, constantly comparing yourself to others, and wondering why you haven't got that life, or why haven't I got this, or why haven't I got that, instead of focusing on what you do have and just being thankful for that. You're constantly glued to this thing that's being put in front of you that is designed to keep you stupid. It's designed to not make you ask questions. The one reason, what I believe is the main reason that these psychedelic substances aren't legal, is because they will take what you believe is real, is normal life, where you have a name and you were born in a country and you're experiencing the world, and you're experiencing your job or your partner and They will take all of that and they will just chuck it out the window. And essentially they will let you know that what's happening is just one big illusion. And once you realize it's one big illusion, you will quickly realize that you're probably on a hamster wheel, chasing the things that don't matter. That you need to come back to spreading love and being a good person. Planting a seed and knowing that you may never get to sit under that tree's shade is one of the greatest things ever. Wherever you go, you're constantly making a difference to someone's day, to someone's week, to someone's life by listening to them, by telling them your problems, so they're not looking at you and thinking, oh, look what he or she has. I don't have that. I wish I had that. When they're looking at you, or they're looking at someone else, and they're only looking at someone from a surface level, and they're comparing themselves to them, and that's majorly detrimental to their mental health. So yeah, turn off the TV because there's not much of use on there. It seems that the people in power don't want you to wake up to what matters. Because if you did, they would lose control over you. And that's what the whole system is about. It's about control. It's about an agenda. Yeah. Like I said, this video will go unedited. I'm not a poet. I'm not a motivational speaker. I just wanted to perhaps let you know that I would hope that you took something out of being inside for X amount of time, and that what I took out of the whole COVID thing was a paradigm shift. I think that people worldwide are questioning the system and are questioning what truly matters. And if you've made it this far in the video, then thank you. I didn't plan for it to go this long. I just pressed record and started talking. And that if you ever ask the question, what is the grand meaning of life? There's a pretty simple answer, whether you believe it or not. And you'll find this answer when you boil down the things that you do that feel the best, that give you the most satisfaction. When you boil them down, you will realize that the one meaning of life is to learn how to love.